spec. We talked to a lot of them. Unfortunately, the bigger developers are finding that the Tracy, Manteca, Lathrop, Patterson area is kind of the real attractive area right now for building spec buildings, and that's where you'll see Prologis and Panattoni building in that area, and they're not bashful up there. They're building 1.5 million square feet on spec. But we have also talked to some smaller developers, and they just haven't. We had one I thought that was going to venture into Madera County, but I just ran into them this last week, and they said that they felt that it just wasn't in their niche right now. Another important one that I think that it gets overlooked as well is the Greater Madera County Industrial Association, also referred to as GMCIA. Several years back, when Shirley Driggs was their part-time executive director and she wanted to retire, they were paying her $400 a month. So Ron Flores and a couple of the members came to me, asked me if we would take over the administration of that organization, and they said that they would pay us the $400. What we did is we made an agreement with them that they could keep their dues the same and not have to raise their dues because they were just getting ready to do that, and that we would just volunteer our services. And for those that, I think most of you are familiar with it, but the GMCIA is like a mini chamber of commerce, but it's only for manufacturers. You can't join if you're not a manufacturer. So they don't want staffing people or insurance people or bankers or people, especially bankers, retired bankers. They don't want
pizza manufacturers.
Yeah, well, yeah, you manufacture pizza, but they don't want somebody in the meeting there that's going to try to sell them on some goods or services. They want to focus on the issues of manufacturing. So it's also great a retention and expansion tool because we have constant contact with those people. Another important one I know that we're working on right now, and want to thank your CAO, Eric Fleming, for helping with the funding on this, or actually funding this, is the new SEDS document. That was a document that we have to maintain in order for the county and the two cities and any other nonprofit to be eligible for federal grant money through the EDA. We're in the process right now. I just reviewed the draft executive summary of the new SEDS yesterday, and made Fawn McLaughlin, who is our consultant, she and I confirmed the changes, and we hope to have that approved by EDA by June of this year. Under promotions, just again, we've just recently updated the website again. I want to make sure you guys are on our email list. And then the other thing that I wanted just to highlight is if you follow us at all, you'll see that we are on social media every day. We are blogging on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, and LinkedIn, and so we're trying to keep, or our goal is to keep the Madera County economic development and Madera County in front of people at all times. One of the new things that we've started, and this is something that I've been trying to push, or actually Julie's been trying to push, and she's pushed me along with her, is actually learning more about the technicalities, or the technical part of social media and how to get the best coverage and the best reach from it. And so she's been going to a seminar, a conference down in San Diego once a year that just focuses on learning how to advance your presence on social media. And the other thing that she started, I don't know if you've noticed this on some of our blogs and so forth, is videos, and she's been refining that. So now when she goes to an event, or she comes to talk to you, instead of just putting pictures on a website or in our eBiz, you'll see that she's actually posting videos, impromptu interviews with people. So it just gives us a much more professional look and up-to-date look. Public services, I'll just just lets you kind of look through that. And you certainly can ask any questions if you like. Some of our just affiliations, I mentioned GMCIA. We also help found and are actively involved with the Eastern Madera County Chamber Alliance. It's the 4 chambers of the Eastern Madera County. They meet on a monthly basis. I try to attend as many of those meetings as I can. And what we've also done is we've created them or established them as a committee of the Madera County Economic Development Commission to give them a legal status, so that that way when they apply for grants that they have a legal status, and they apply through us, such as the Chichancy grant that they received a few years ago. Julie's an active member of the Tourism Alliance, Cal Ed. The other thing that we're also active on, I served for 2 years. Julie is now taking over because they only let you serve a 2-year period of time, is the ABC Advisory Council. And that gives us an opportunity to sit face to face with Channel 30 once a quarter and go over our events. And it also opens up the channels to us to have constant contact with them. They encourage us to send them constant updates. So if the board ever has anything or the county has anything that you want publicized, if you just let us know, and we'll make sure that Channel 30 has that information. And the one thing that they emphasize too is even if they don't send a news crew out to the event, that they will post it on their social media, so it just broadens your reach. We've also been involved with the Y Madera County Coalition. Some of the businesses, they're listed there before you, and as on the left you'll see a picture of Casey and Lindsay Hawkins, the owners of Southgate Brewing in Oakhurst and Access in Tercero Viejo, and I anyway, refer to them as one of the best looking couples in Madera County. The Southgate Brewing, that was their first venture, and we helped them get that off the ground, and we did some financing through our revolving loan fund with them, and then the same thing with Access, the Access Coffee Shop. They negotiated that lease with the McCaffrey Group, but then we came in behind that and did the financing for them. Some of the current projects that we're working on, you'll see the first 4 are new manufacturing projects that are, I don't want to jinx myself and say done deals. The bottling company, the lease has actually been approved, so that's a pretty done deal. The Castle Light Industries, will be introducing that gentleman tomorrow at our luncheon. They're going in, or actually have gone into, the former U.S. RAC building. If you're aware, Chris Green was in that building for many years and retired, and so he is now leasing this building to Castle Light Industries, a very unique company that does recycles, makes product out of recycled chrome rubber from tires, and they have a big opportunity with Pacific Gas and Electric to do actually rubber telephone poles. The nice thing about them too is they don't do any extrusion, so there's no emissions at all, so we don't have to worry about San Joaquin Valley air quality control.
Oh, we could work it out.
Yeah.
Right?
The Love's Travel Center, I know you've heard
And the
that.
cars just bounce off of those telephone poles?
Well, that's what we asked them, you know. But if you touch their product, it's all rubber, but I mean, it's as solid as this granite top
Yes.
here, so I don't think they're going to bounce very well.
It's like a hockey puck, I
But
would
it'd be,
imagine.
yeah, but the one thing is they won't sever like a wood pole does.
Oh,
So I don't know if that's
splinter,
good or
yeah.
bad. It's good for PG&E, but I don't know about how well it is for the drunk drivers that run into them. Love's Travel Center, you've been hearing that for many years. Yes, they have broke ground finally, so, and they have all their building permits, and they would have broke ground sooner except for all the rain events that we've been having. We have 3 commercial projects that we're working on that look very good. We're working on a cold storage facility in Chowchilla and a Chowchilla biochar project that it will be just, it's not actually in Chowchilla, we call it Chowchilla Biochar, but it's actually just outside in the county, and also a biomass facility. Lastly, I just want to say, we want to thank Deborah Martinez and her group at the Department of Social Services and funding through CalWorks. We've been working diligently with them this year on their expanded subsidized employment program, ESE, and they've created 23 jobs through referrals that we've been able to give them. Businesses that we've referred to them have hired 23 employees this year, and that's just through the end of February. Just kind of want to highlight some of the, have had award-winning projects since I've been there. We've had 7 awards presented to us by CalEd, and you'll see that 4 of them were grand prize awards, and then you have the 2 pictures on the right are the good-looking part of our staff, and then the other guy on the left.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to answer any questions.
It needed a haircut in the picture, but you got it cut, so it's better now, so.
I get about a quarterly haircut.
Oh, that's
So
how
it
I
goes
do.
in stages. And I'm not due for about another month, so next time you see me, it'll probably be a little longer.
I don't know about it. Better see it cut tomorrow, man.
Oh, yeah,
say
if
something
you
tomorrow.
catch up with me, you probably, you and Ron Domenici, when Ron was on the board, he was always yelling at me about getting a haircut.
Yeah.
CMC was left off, we're working on that too, is that correct?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I didn't really want to go too far into that. It's, it's still,
But they're coming in, I think it's important.
yeah, they've
to
absolutely,
highlight,
absolutely. They purchased the property out at Avenue 12, or known as the Flag Barn property, but I just really don't want to get too far into the weeds on that one.
Well, thank you. ICSC, sorry I wasn't able to go. Pretty good turnout, or?
It was a great turnout
what was
this
the
year.
response like this year?
Yeah, they changed the format a little bit, which I really liked. What they did is, in the past, the first day, it wasn't, the deal-making area was not open very much, if at all. But this year, it was, instead of Wednesday, Thursday, it was Thursday, Friday. But the deal-making area was open all day. So what it did is it made it very conducive to being able to have some broker meetings, and then have time to get back in there, and then take in some of the luncheon events, and then, but still have adequate time, clear up to, I think it went to 5 o'clock, that you had, you were able to do walk-ups on all the retailers that were there. And it was also a more expanded show this year. Some of the retailers, there was more retailers than in the past. And then this is a regional show. So one of the things in the past several years, not a lot of the big guys were there, but notice that some of the bigger ones and some new ones were in attendance. And the one that I was really enjoyed meeting with that haven't been there in the past was Target. I usually try to catch them in May in Las Vegas. But I know, Brett, you've been to that show. That show is just so huge that it's hard to get a meeting with those guys, those big retailers at those meetings. So it was good. We had a nice, half-hour conversation that, kind of covered a lot of different things. And so hopefully we're opening that door again.
Good. Yeah, the Vegas one it's like a city in and of itself. It's like 30,000, 40,000 people come to it. It's too massive. I prefer that Monterey one.
Yeah, you can actually get more done in a day at Monterey than you get done in 3 days in Las Vegas, just because it's condensed. There's not the people. You can move around. It's easier to get appointments. So it's a good show.
Good. We can take the Vegas one out of the budget.
Well, it wouldn't hurt my feelings, but I think we need to be there just because some of the
You need a
the
presence,
bigger
yeah.
retailers like your Costco's, they're not in Monterey. Some of the other bigger sporting goods, fitness centers, Planet Fitness was at this one, but they were the only real fitness center that was represented there. So, and that's and then of course the restaurants, you have a lot of fast foods here, you have a lot of fast foods in Vegas too, but you have some of the other more traditional restaurant chains that are in Vegas that you don't see here too. So that's it, you know, it's a show that I dread going to because I know what my body's going to feel like after that show.
You have to walk to the floor.
Yeah, because you just kills your feet and your back. But
It's
yeah,
really so big that like in the convention center, they have roads and avenues set up. So you say like, where's the booth? It's on like 7th Avenue and 1st Street. And you like it's insane.
and it covers the whole convention
yeah.
center.
Yeah. So what else can we do as the county to help these economic development activities? How do we really propel this forward in your opinion?
Yeah, well, you know, I think that, first of all, I was remiss in not thanking Eric and his staff too, because they've been just wonderful. For example, the hotel project, I mean, and Tom was in on that one, you know, just the diligence and how everybody came to the table. And when we have a project, it's just, you know, it's, I mean, they're just right there. You call, you email them, you get you set up the appointment, and they have everybody at the table. I mean, you have Eric at the table, you have the supervisor at the table, you have Matt and his staff and the roads and everybody. I mean, everybody that you need
Joel.
is at that table. And believe me, these clients that come in are like, wow. You know, it's like, you know, I didn't expect, you know, this many people. We didn't expect the CAO, and we didn't expect the supervisor. We thought we'd get maybe one planner to sit down with us. So, you know, they do a great job. I think the other thing that we need to keep focusing on is the development of infrastructure, and I know that Eric's got his eye on the ball on that one. And I think that's something that we need to continue to work together to identify areas and then try to identify ways that we can get that infrastructure in. Because if you're not site ready in today's world, you're just not going to get considered. I mean, the big projects, you know, they want to be able to come in, you know, negotiate a deal, and they want to start turning dirt, and they want to be up and running in, you know, a year, 18 months, depending on the size of the project. It's a fast pace. But yeah, I just really can't say enough about the cooperation of the staff.
With any extra funding, would your shop be able to look at those infrastructure studies, or what we need or what we're lacking, or through just your knowledge of?
Yeah, basically that's the biggest challenge in developing in the county in an unincorporated area is that the county doesn't have like a wastewater treatment plant, and they don't have water lines and redundancy of, you know, you don't have a series of wells like the cities do, and the redundancy. So fire protection is a real issue when you're trying to deal with infrastructure in the county. And then just the road improvements, and I mean, just ongoing, it's just the traditionally counties, and I'm not saying Madera County, I'm just saying counties in general were usually not your development points, where I think, and that's still the case in some counties, but I think Madera County is positioning themselves to be a county that welcomes it and wants it. And then our challenge now is to get ourselves to the point where we have that infrastructure in place so that that we're there, and we don't have to sit down and scratch our heads about how are we going to get water to this project or how are we going to get sewer to this project, you know, and it's just doing the environmental work. And the staff's been, you know, they've been right alongside of us on that. So we do have sites that we've targeted and that we've working on, and I think if we can get a couple of those online, I think the county would be in very strong position.
Yeah, we're in a different, where half of our residents live in unincorporated areas, and then we only have two cities, And, we always try and help the cities however we can to, wherever they can get sited there, but we need to, create that base where people have the ability to work here, less vehicle miles traveled. They have those opportunities right here, and when you have such a large unincorporated area, that's, I think it is a unique situation for Madera County to have to put ourselves out there like that. Like you said, most counties aren't going to be that point of contact. But CAO?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to echo the compliments that Bobby had. We feel the same way. We've been working closely with Bobby. Anytime we need his assistance, he's right there. He's with us at the table. I think one of the things, one of the tools that your board has approved that we put in place is these enhanced infrastructure financing districts. And we've overlaid real key areas where we're going to need to put in that infrastructure at some point in the future. So I think that was, there was some good foresight there, and I think we'll be prepared to do some of that infrastructure development as these businesses start to come. And being in Monterey was interesting because we had several meetings, and this year it was definitely more serious. The companies that we talked to are seriously looking at Madera and Madera County, right. And I think we're at that point where we're finally breaking through. So it's good. It's been good.
So apparently it was me. I just couldn't close the deal. You guys were able to. Supervisor Rogers?
Yeah, I know that plugged in with RCRC, and they've got a new economic development wing there, and just want the public to know we're working through them on some excellent financing opportunities as well as grants. They're plugged into the USDA as well. Mm-hmm. So one of the former representatives to RCRC is now the California head of USDA Rural Development, and that's Kim Van. Oh. So know her well, and we're in a position to really gain some opportunities.
And just, I know you're active with that group, so I just kudos to them too for the extensive report that they put out. I know Eric was nice enough to forward that to me to review it. We made some comments on it, but where it also came in to be very helpful was I forwarded it to Fawn McLaughlin, who's our consultant for the SEDS. And so she has been able to glean through that and took a lot of information that they compiled about Madera County and is incorporating that into the current SEDS that she's writing. So it was a very helpful document.
Good. Glad
And
to hear it.
somebody up there, I don't know who did it, but I mean, that is some heavy lifting that they
Barbara
did.
really knows what she's doing, and they've got a lot of good people working on that stuff. So.
Because I know I had Julie read through that as well, and at Eric's request to make comments on it. So she and I both read it, and she said the same thing to me. She goes, wow, she goes, I don't know who wrote this, but somebody had to do a lot of research, because that's a lot of the work she does in our office. So she knows how time-consuming that type of research is. So they did a yeoman's job on that.
Great, glad to hear it. I'll pass that on.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you, Bob. Great report, and we're still trying to work on some type of a incentive program that we have. We got a couple of examples from other counties, and so we're going to be working on that too.
I've got some good news. Bobby and I, Bobby's reviewing the draft right now. We've got the plan ready to come to your board probably in early April. So we'll have a policy for your board to consider, put in place that'll establish the parameters for how we consider incentive programs and review them and determine whether or not they're.
During the first part of your meeting, not that I wasn't riveted on what you were saying, but I was sitting back there reading that report, because I know Eric wants my comments turned around fast, and I've been reading that SEDS document, so now I've got the SEDS document, so now I'm reading this document as the next one.
Yeah, I think it's just important to note how important economic development is. All these things that we've talked about today, from kids on bicycles, having those experiences, the river. We can't do any of it if there's no economic activity, if there's nothing driving that engine, and it's what allows us to do any of the things. It's what allows us to serve underserved segments of our population. the greatest social program, is a good paying job. And we need to have that here. And so I appreciate what you're doing for Madera County and helping to put the gas in the engine that drives everything and allows us to really develop the vision of what we have for this whole area.
So,
You might hear some of that tomorrow in my speech.
Okay.
I just,
yeah, don't blow it, man.
that was a little,
I'd love to be there, but I'll be at RCRC.
No excuse, man.
I asked RCRC to schedule a meeting so you wouldn't have to be there.
Brett,
That's a teaser.
was that Sarah Weaver? Is that her name?
Sharon Weaver, she's still
Sharon. Oh, there she is. I mean, yeah. I put Sarah and I didn't hear it right, so I want to make sure I got it right when I write it on my notes. Thank you, Sharon.
All right. Is there any other comments for Bobby?
Bobby Lou?
And just, that was a teaser, but a reminder to everybody, tomorrow is the State of the County luncheon that's put on by you. And actually, I take that back. It's put on by Julie and Lois, and you get to get up there and
Yeah,
speak.
they just asked me to MC it every year.
So make sure to go to that, and it'll be riveting. I'm going to keep it under 7 minutes tomorrow. I'm aiming for 5. I don't want
Don't
people,
get it too
I don't want
short.
people sleeping. I gotta wait. I think I can get there.
The invocation is going to be 5 minutes.
No, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Rob's giving the invocation.
Is there any public comment regarding this item? See none, I'll call close to
Move to
the
approve?
public
Second.
comment. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you, gentlemen.
This was on consent calendar. I just think it's too important to
Absolutely.
not highlight. And
No, I
bring that
appreciated it.
forefront.
Thank you.
I would have pulled it.
Yeah. Thank you, Sharon, for being here today.
Yeah.
All right. Now, we'll move on to 7E.
7E, Public Health Department, Cal Reach Project. 1, discussion and consideration of approval of receipt of unanticipated revenue number 18-097 in the amount of $230,000 derived from federal other revenue to be appropriated to Federal Rural Health Outreach Grant Permanent Salaries, Retirement, County Health Insurance, Communication Services, Office Expense, Equipment, FA Limit, Furniture, Professional and Specialized Services, Software Maintenance, Modify Advertisements, Publication, and Legal Notices, Rent Lease, Company Vehicle Rent Lease, Other Equipment, Special Department Expense, Transportation, Travel, Education, Interfund Expenses, and Interfund Transactions for FY 2018 to 2019. And 2, discussion consideration of entering into an agreement number 18-10552 with California Department of Public Health in the amount of $1,150,000 for the implementation of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health Project for fiscal years 2018 to 2024, and authorize the chairman to sign the agreement and following documents. To sign the grant agreement, the paid data record, and the contractor certification. 3, discussion and consideration to authorize the Madera County Department of Public Health Director to sign any subsequent documents or amendments required for acceptance of funds or execution of this agreement.
Sorry, I knew it was a long item to read. I forgot to take a break.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and Supervisors. I'm Stephanie Nathan, Assistant Director for Public Health. And today I'm going to briefly describe Cal Reach. And I want to talk about this very important and prestigious award that Madera County Department of Public Health has received. And I want to start by saying that REACH stands for Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health. And this is a grant that was awarded from the federal government from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. And it specifically targets the reduction of what we call racial and ethnic health disparities. So that basically refers to any differences in poor health outcomes. So for Madera County, that would be, for example, looking at the Latino population, the mortality rates for heart disease or mortality rates for hypertension compared to the general population. So the focus of this award will be reducing those risk factors for chronic diseases. So there were only 31 awards given nationwide and 3 awardees in California. So Madera is coupled with Merced County under award from the California Department of Public Health. And the other two awardees were San Diego and Stockton. And so the Madera and Merced Award, we're calling that CalReach. Again, that's through the California Department of Public Health. And it's an award for $230,000 per year for 5 years for a total of $1.15 million. And again, the focus will be on doing culturally and linguistically appropriate interventions for the Latino population. And so, as I said earlier, the aim is the improvement of chronic diseases. So those are going to be diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and hypertension. And the focus is the Latino population, specifically living in the city of Madera. And we chose specifically 5 census tracts in the city of Madera, which will focus based on the criteria that we had in the grant. And the strategies that we're going to focus on are improving healthy food access. And we're going to do that in a variety of ways, mainly through partnerships. We're going to, for example, work with the county on looking at and exploring a community farm, working on relaunching a farmer's market in the city, working with the flea market to see if they can accept EBT and also promoting fruits and vegetables at the flea market. Also working with promoting physical activity. And that's going to be through working with the city of Madera, looking at infrastructure improvements. And I should say the underlying theme of all of these strategies is really activating community residents. We're calling them resident champions or community champions. So we're identifying people who have an interest in community government and in community processes, informing them and making sure that they have the right information to get involved in the community. And so with physical activity, that might be conducting walk audits or walk assessments around the community and then identifying recommendations that they can make to various boards. And then increasing referrals and access to information. So this is going to be looking at traditional and non-traditional ways of spreading information. So this might be going through church networks, working with the Catholic Church or working with different churches around the city of Madera to make sure that residents have a way of getting information that they need to have related to public health, but also related to other types of services. It's also going to be the promotion of services such as 211 and 311 and making sure that those messages are culturally and linguistically appropriate. And a big emphasis of this grant is making sure that whatever we do, we're doing it through partnerships. And so the vehicle through which we're doing this is Live Well Madera County, and that's the coalition that the Public Health Department leads along with other agencies such as Department of Social Services and Behavioral Health. Supervisor Poitras, for example, is on that coalition. Also, the city of Madera is going to be a huge partner, obviously, because most of the work will be taking place in the city of Madera. There's also Camarena Health. There's actually 30 agencies or organizations that are part of Live Well Madera County, including nonprofit and government agencies. So we do plan to come back periodically and share updates regarding what's going on with this grant. We invite you to be part of Live Well Madera County. If you'd like any more information on that, you can let us know, and of course, we can at least add you to the email list. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions? Very good.
Great
Congratulations
job.
on
Really
being
great
awarded this
job.
grant. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any public comment regarding this item? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment.
Move to approve. Oh, you want to do it, Rob?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll pull it
I'll
off.
make a motion for approval.
Second?
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Now the work begins.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep. You two are doing a great job, so thank you.
All right, we'll break for lunch. I'm just kidding.
Great idea. I'm hungry and heck, man.
All right, item 7F.
7F, Public Works Department, Engineering Services Division, discussion and consideration of entering into a cooperative agreement number 06-1690 with the California Department of Transportation for completing plans, specification, and estimates and right-of-way work for the State Route 41 four-lane improvement project. Unauthorized, the chairman to sign.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ahmad Al-Kayat and Jared Carter with Public Works. We're here today to recommend to your board to enter into a cooperative agreement with Caltrans for the county to take lead on completing plans, specifications, and estimates, and also right-of-way work for the expansion of the 41 highway. Per our last monthly meeting, the project is on schedule to clear environmentally by Caltrans later this year, towards the end of 2019. And, for efforts to expedite the process, the idea came about for Public Works to take over the design and plans and specs and estimates. So we can go ahead and solicit for design as soon after this agreement is approved by your board. We're here if you have any questions.
Are there any questions? So I think this is important. This will move it forward a lot quicker.
A whole lot quicker.
And I think it can actually be a lot less expensive. Even Caltrans agreed to that, saying that, there's going to be, some cost. But even if a private developer were to do it, Caltrans would charge them another 30% or 40% on top just for admin, which would blow the cost up to where it would never, ever happen. So, these meetings have been very good with Caltrans. They like this idea. It's kind of a new idea. They've done it before, but it's been a while, and so I think it's a good way to do this, to get these improvements that everybody needs quicker rather than later. My only question on the right-of-way work, we wouldn't do any acquisitions until what level of design would we be at, or would we need to be at?
Good morning, Chairman. Jared Carter with Public Works. So the right-of-way acquisition actually cannot start until we clear the environmental. So typically typically that's design-wise probably more like 60, closer to 60, 90% design is where we'd be at the level for right-of-way. The one thing I would add, though, in this situation, Caltrans includes mitigation as part of their right-of-way phase. So that will actually involve not only acquisition of properties that we need, but also dealing with all the mitigation stuff related to environmental. So there's a little bit more to it, and a little different than we do it typically, but we should be able to get all that going and have it going concurrently with, hopefully, with getting all the environmental stuff cleared.
We just can't buy land in their vernal pools that they created?
Yeah, they ought to
Oh, wait,
donate,
those
they ought to donate that.
Those haven't been accepted by any state, local, or federal agencies, but they sure create an issue. All right, if there's no questions of the board, anybody from the public wishing to comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call close to the public comment, bring it back to the board for action.
Move to approve.
Second. Max, second, go ahead.
Supervisor Wheeler?
No, Rogers.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes?
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Everyone thinks
Start
you're the
now,
chair
then drop
today. Thank you very much. All right,
job.
I see we didn't have any pending legislation. Is there any pending legislation anyone wishes to bring forward? All right, supervisor and staff reports.
I have nothing to report.
Thanks.
Nothing.
All right, Eric, anything to report? County council,
No report.
county
No,
clerk,
thank
and just tomorrow's the EDC luncheon. And with that, I'll adjourn the meeting.
Yeah, you too.
Be
Jared,
careful up there.
Jared. I got something.